Welcome to our training today. My name is Angelica Urquijo. I'm working along with the team from the City of Los Angeles StreetsLA. We'd like to welcome you to our first online training on securing your vending permit. First of all, I'd like to congratulate you for starting this journey into succeeding as an entrepreneur. You'll see through the process of our conversation that there are a number of resources that are in place offered by the City of LA to assist you in securing your permits. But we want to stress, as you can see here on our screen, about the date July 1st. We want to encourage you to process all the required documentation and secure your vending permit prior to July 1st so that you can take advantage of the reduced rate. We'll talk about that through the presentation. So this is what we'll be covering in the 45 minutes that we're going to spend together today. Here's our agenda. So why is it essential to get the permit? We'll walk through the step-by-step procedures, what you need to do to attain the BTRC from the City of Los Angeles, how do you get the seller's permit from the state of California, and if you're a food vendor, what you need to secure from LA County is the health permit. And then ultimately, when you've actually gone through the process, whether you're a food vendor or merchandise vendor, you'll secure your vendor permit through the City of Los Angeles at the StreetsLA office. We'll also share with you a number of locations where you can seek free assistance during this process. And then we'll close with answering some of your questions that you might have and some of the responses. So here are 8 City of LA sponsored business source centers that we want you to take advantage of. This is going to be a wonderful resource in helping you through this process. You see that there is representation throughout the City of Los Angeles and the Valley and the South Bay, Los Angeles proper. So identify a location that is most convenient for you. You see a phone number there. Call to set up an appointment so that you can actually connect with one of the advisors. During these times, most of the business source centers are actually housing meetings over the phone, online with our vendors, and in some cases actually have in person. So reach out to the most appropriate facility and start the process with the business center. So in addition to helping you with securing the required permits, these are some of the other services that are offered to small business owners in the City of Los Angeles. Small business owners, including yourselves as vendors. So extensive technical assistance to vendors, like understanding the permit requirements and assistance through the process. You'll also be able to get information on access to capital, including referrals to the city's microloan program to purchase equipment. And then also small business development information, planning and management, marketing tools, more information on banking, how to access banking services, so ramping up your financial literacy, procurement of proper liability insurance to protect yourself as a business owner, more on taxes, cash management, and the electronic payment acceptance. So a number of services available to small business owners in the City of Los Angeles. And the great news, it's absolutely free, no cost to you. So this is the roadmap. As you can see, we've laid out what the process is to secure the required permits, and we're going to break this down in the presentation so that you can see what path you need to take. But this, again, takes you through the path of securing the vending permit, regardless of whether you're a merchandise vendor or whether you plan to sell food. Now, before we begin, we want to make sure that you have in hand before you reach out to the business source centers, before you try to attain any of the requirements, you need to have your photo ID. So that could be either a government issued driver's license, California ID, passport, or any other consular ID that is accepted, a government certified ID. Second, you'll need the taxpayer number. Now that could be either your Social Security number or your individual taxpayer identification number, otherwise referred to as the I-10. So these are the items that are essential to have before you start your journey and before you reach out to the business source team. Now let's say that you don't have a Social Security number and don't have an I-10. Well, no worries. There are resources out there to assist you with securing the I-10 so that you can begin the process. So first, you're going to have to fill out Form W-7, the application for the IRS Individual Taxpayer Identification Number, and that along with your federal income tax return. You're also going to have to provide original documentation or certified copies from the issuing agency to prove your identity and your foreign status. Now, for these things, you can get assistance either at the IRS Volunteer Income Tax Assistance or the VITA centers, and there's the web address, so you can get a location nearest you, or you can actually reach out to one of the 8 business source centers. Your counselor can assist you through that journey as well. So in addition to helping you with the permit process, they can also assist you in acquiring for the I-10. So what exactly are you selling? That's going to determine what permit you actually have to secure. As you can see at the top, somebody who is a food vendor selling something like maybe taquitos, hot dogs, even ice cream is going to have to go through a little more extensive process to secure the vending permit. Down below, the merchandise vendor can most likely secure all their permits in one day. Ultimately, both, regardless of whether you're a food or merchandise vendor, the last stop, and it must be in person, is securing your City of LA vending permit, and that's through the StreetsLA department. So let's get started and secure your vending permit. As I said earlier, in order to start, you're going to need your Social Security number or your I-10. Then second, you're going to visit one of the 8 business source centers that we made reference to that's most convenient to you. Now, depending on what you're selling, then we're going to know what type of permit you need. As a merchandise vendor, you will need to secure the BTRC from the City of Los Angeles Office of Finance. Second, through the state of California, you'll be securing the vendor's permit. And once you have those documents, then you can make the appointment to process the paperwork for the vending permit at the StreetsLA offices, which are located in Los Angeles, downtown Los Angeles. Now to the right, for the food vendors, you go through the same process. So you have to attain the BTRC, seller's permit, but in addition to that, as a food vendor, you'll be working with the LA County Department of Public Health to secure a public health permit. Once you have those 3 permits, then you as a food vendor can make the appointment to reach out and complete your application for the City of LA vending permit with the StreetsLA team in downtown Los Angeles. So as you can see, very similar process. The thing that we're adding is the public health permit for food vendors. So here's a little information for you on where you will be able to acquire the business tax registration certificate, otherwise known as a BTRC. If you opt to do this on your own, again, we're encouraging you to work with the business centers, and that way you don't have to go from office to office. You just have to work with the business center, and in the comfort of your home or in their office, you can go through the various websites to secure the permits. But if you did want to apply in person, there are 3 locations that you can visit. First one is at City Hall. There's a location also in the Valley in Van Nuys, and the 3rd location in West Los Angeles. There's a website below with the City of Los Angeles that you'll walk through that process to acquire the permit. You will need, again, as we started, you're going to need your photo ID and information from that, and you're going to also need your Social Security or your I-10 number. Again, this process will take about a day. Best resource is start with your business source center advisor, and they're going to walk you through this process. Second, you're going to acquire the seller's permit, and that is going to be from the California Department of Tax and Fee Administration, otherwise known as the CDTFA. Now, if you'd like, you can go in person. They're located in Culver City. The website is there as well. So without you having to get into your car, you can process the documentation. But again, just reach out to your advisor at the Business Source Center. It's going to make this transition so much easier and smoother for you to process. So let's walk you through the merchandise vendor permit process. Again, with the assistance of the Business Source Centers, you'll be able to access this information. They'll hold your hand literally, and there's absolutely no cost to you. So the merchandise vendor first will be applying for the business tax registration certificate. That's the BTRC, and that is through the City Department of Finance. Once you have that, you'll be applying for the seller's permit at the California Department of Tax and Fee Administration. Both, again, can be done online without you having to actually leave your home. If you're selling food, process adds one more step. Again, your friends at the Business Source Center will be able to help you. Food vendors, same process. You start with applying for the Business Tax Registration Certificate, the BTRC, at the City of LA's Department of Finance. You then proceed with the state to get your seller's permit at the California Department of Tax and Fee Administration. And the third step that you will be taking as a food vendor is applying for a public health permit from LA County's Public Health Department. Now let's walk you through the process. Once we know that you are a food vendor and that you need to be securing the public health permit, this is the process that you will be following. You'll be submitting 2 sets of detailed cart plans, your complete plan check application, and then you're going to be required to pay for the plan check fee. And that is the step to get you on the road to securing the public health permit. So public health permits, mobile food carts are required to have a health permit. So what is exactly considered a cart? Well, a mobile food facility is a cart, a truck, it could be a trailer, anything that people use to sell food and beverages. Now, food can be packaged in many ways. It can either be sold as prepackaged or unpackaged. So the prepackaged food has already been wrapped by a manufacturing company. So that could be something like, potato chips, popcorn. It could be ice cream that's already wrapped in a plastic wrap. Unpacked food is made by the people selling the food. So that could be something like hot dogs, churros, tacos, something that out in the community, when you're selling your food, you're actually preparing for the consumers. Now this, as you can see, it's a little lengthier process, so customarily it could take up to 4 weeks. So plan accordingly in terms of securing your public health permit. Here is the application that you're going to start with. The public health permit is required to operate, as I said earlier, the mobile food carts. You need to have the permit. So in this case, the health permit is very different than the permit that you're securing as individuals. What we're actually permitting here is the cart. So if a family, a mother, the father, the brother, the sister, the cousins, all want to be selling those churros or those taquitos, then we don't have to worry about each one of them having the permit for the cart. We're securing the permit for that one cart. What we do want to make sure is that we maintain a current permit for the cart. In order to complete this, to obtain a permit, first you must submit the following to the Plan Check program at one of the Plan Check offices. And in one of the next slides, we'll actually give you the location of the Plan Check offices. So to begin, you're going to provide them with 2 sets of detailed cart plans, the completed Plan Check application, which you see here, and then you're going to also submit the Plan Check fee. And we'll cover the fees in the following slides as well. Now, if the cart is approved, once you've met the specifications that you have, you want to call the Plan Check program to schedule that final inspection. Now, currently, the final inspections are being done in Baldwin Park. You see the address there, 5050 Commerce Drive in Baldwin Park. There are discussions of opening up other sites closer to the business or centers, and if we do have additional information, we will be sharing that with you. So we encourage you to stay connected to us on our various social media platforms and on our website. The Plan Check will then conduct the final inspection of the mobile food cart to verify that the cart was built to specifications. So here, built to specifications. Be very careful and make sure, you have to ensure that you build that cart to the specifications, to the plans that were approved. Anything that you might add to it or not include could jeopardize your cart being approved, the plan being approved, and you being issued that health permit plan that you need in order to be a vendor in the city of Los Angeles. So here are the locations that you can reach out for the plan check. Look for an office that's closest and most convenient to you. We have an office in the West Valley, that's in Panorama City, also in the South Bay in Torrance, and you have one centrally located, the Metroplex office, that's in downtown Los Angeles. Now, if we're fortunate, crossing our fingers, the mobile cart, the final inspection's been approved, then this is our next step. You see the form there that will be completed. You will be then asked to submit the commissary contract. We'll talk about the requirements and what goes on in the commissary. The route slip, that's essential to let them know this is the area that I am going to be selling my tacos, my hot dogs, my popcorn, my baseball caps. So this then turns into the area that you're going to be selling your merchandise. And this protects you as well because it shows this is your designated route to sell your product. Then you're going to submit all the documentation and the application to the Public Health Department. And there you see the address again in Baldwin Park. So the County of Los Angeles Department of Public Health Environmental Health Plan Check Program. They're located there at 5050 Commerce Drive in Baldwin Park. Along with those documents, then you're going to be submitting the permit fee. So the commissary contract that we talked about, what actually goes on there and what's required of that? This is where you house your cart. The cart is housed there when it's not in use. And that becomes basically home base for your business. At the commissary, you'll store your food, your containers, and all of your supplies. That's also where you're going to prepare and package the food that you're going to be selling in the community. You're going to be washing your utensils and equipment there. You'll have the facility for that. And this is where you're going to drain all the liquid waste, dispose of your trash and garbage, those items that you can't dispose of out in your vending areas. At the commissary too, you're going to refill your tanks with clean water for the following day. You store the cart, and the morning when you're ready to go out, or in the evening, depending on the hours that you sell, you come back to the commissary and pick up your cart. The process begins again when you finish your day. So here are the fees. We talked about the fees required to secure the vending permit. You'll see that there is a variation depending on whether you are going to be selling food that there is limited preparation or prepackaged. For both, the plan check fee is the same, which is $746. But for instance, here we're using the example of a hot dog cart. So the plan check is $746, but moving forward, my annual permit will be $772. Now, say I'm selling prepackaged food, so potato chips, ice cream that is prepackaged in a little cellophane wrap, then again, my plan check fee will be the same, $746, but my annual permit fee will then be $393. So those are the differences depending on whether you're selling limited food preparation permit or whether you're selling food that is prepackaged. When you receive your permit, you're also going to receive one of these two stickers on your cart. And they're going to designate the type of food you are authorized to sell. You need to make sure that you affix this to your cart so it's seen by the inspectors, more importantly also seen by consumers and people that are going to be vending. They'll be more likely to feel comfortable and buy from you than somebody who might not have. So it's kind of the seal of approval. So the yellow one indicates that you have limited food preparation. So again, maybe you're selling tacos, maybe you're selling churros. The green one is for prepackaged foods. So again, the potato chips, the Coke, Pepsi, the ice cream that is already wrapped up and ready to sell and consume. Here's some examples of where you'd be placing the stickers on your carts. As you see the sticker, the yellow sticker, which shows will be food preparation, that cart is a little bit more sophisticated. So most likely it is equipped with an area where there's water, something to heat the food, the grill, specifications so that that person can prepare food on site in the community. Meanwhile, the one to the right, that one is selling ice cream paletas, and these are ice creams that are already prepackaged, so there's no preparation. The vendor is going to get the cash from the individuals and hand over the paletas or the ice cream. And just like restaurants, I'm sure you're familiar with these tags. The approved mobile food facilities shall also have a posted letter grade. So we have A, B, C. I don't know about you, but whenever I'm out, if I choose to go to a restaurant, I'm going to walk away from something that I see maybe a B or C and really focus on trying to consume and eat at a restaurant that has an A standard. And you as vendors should be striving for the same. Do everything to ensure you follow the protocols, the requirements to maintain that A status, because that's going to ensure, again, that's the best marketing that you can do for your businesses, ensuring the consumers that they can feel comfortable and safe eating your food. So here are a couple of additional notes to keep in mind in regards to the public health permit. The mobile food facilities should be operated within 200 feet of approved and ready available facilities that provide a toilet and hand washing facilities. So this is non-negotiable. You need to set up your little mobile cart in an area that is within 200 feet of a toilet and an area where you can wash your hands. Your public health permit must be renewed annually. You need to keep that current. Now, it is possible for there to be a change of ownership of the cart. Perhaps it was permitted by another person. Now you're going to be taking it on, or you want to pass it over to another vendor. That is okay as long as you get approval by the environmental health department. So you want to schedule an appointment to have it reevaluated by the vehicle inspection program. Again, you'll be going down to Baldwin Park. Now, for a copy of the LA County Public Health Department's plan check and operational guidelines for mobile food facilities and mobile support unit, you can visit the website down below, and you'll be getting more information, more than we're able to cover in these 45 minutes, to make sure that you have all the information that you need to secure your permit, to succeed as a food vendor, and more importantly, to provide food that is healthy and safe for our communities. Here are some phone numbers that you would want to keep for future reference as well. This is for more information and guidance on the permitting of the carts. That's the vehicle inspection program number. The second is for information and guidance on the cart plan approval process itself. So that's the plan check program. The third is important for you to have because you're going to be seeing this through the eyes, not only as a vendor, but you too are a consumer. So if you happen to see something that is not being done legally, there's an unpermitted food vendor, or it's jeopardizing the safety and health of the community, you definitely want to reach out to the customer call center for any complaints of unpermitted food sidewalk vendors. So now that we've gone through that process, so whether you're a merchandise vendor, whether you're a food vendor, and you secured all the other permits from the city and the county, and if you saw food, the county, then you're ready to secure your City of LA vending permit from the StreetsLA team. So these are the required documents that you should have in hand before you even head down to their offices. You'll need, again, the government issued ID, either a California driver's license, an ID, a passport, a foreign consulate ID, something that is a government issued picture ID. You take a copy of your business tax registration certificate. You also bring along the California State Seller's Permit. And for our food vendors, you want to make sure that you bring the LA County Public Health Permit. Now, the fee that will be paid at the counter, the StreetsLA counter, you must have either check, cash, or money order. They won't accept credit cards. Now, when we started the presentation, remember we made reference to the date, July 1st. So there's a reason. If you enroll and you get your vending permit by June 30th, you'll be paying $291. If you wait until July 1st, that permit fee goes up to $541. So again, we strongly encourage you to complete this process, visit the business resource centers, get assistance from the counselors so that you can complete this process by the deadline, by June 30th, and be able to take advantage of that reduced fee of $291. Here's the application that you'll be completing when you visit the offices of the StreetsLA team. They're inside the Public Works building. It's located there on Broadway in downtown Los Angeles. There's their phone number and their hours. Again, this is the only permit of all of those that have to be the city and the BTRC. You have to submit this information in person. You need to go in person. They'll take your picture. You'll be submitting all those documents in person. Now, once you get the application submitted, then the other form of information that they'll be providing you are your identification tags as a vendor. This set here designates the area where you will be selling your product. Regardless of whether you're going to be selling merchandise or food, you've determined where you want to sell. So the first one on the left indicates that you're going to be selling in our communities, right? On the streets, on the sidewalks. The middle one is a designation of a park vendor. To the right, it has both icons, both for StreetsLA and the park, so it enables you to sell in any location. That's what we strongly encourage you to take out that last one. There's no additional cost to you. And this enables you to, maybe perhaps down the road, you want to also sell on the parks in addition to the sidewalk. You can now use that, the identification to sell in both locations. So in addition to the location, then you're also going to be seeing the designation of the type of product that you're going to be selling. Now, this is very important because there is a difference. And when you're receiving your vending permit, you're receiving it for either the ability to sell merchandise or the ability to sell food. So you see those designations there for the food vendor, for the merchandise. And again, we encourage people to seek out both. Now, the one caveat here, we know that the journey in the process to acquire the vending permit for food vendors is a little bit more complex and lengthy. So what we encourage, especially since we have that deadline to be concerned about, aware about the fees going up, that if you see that it's taking a little longer than you suspected to acquire the food permit, we encourage you to apply for the merchandise vendor payer fee and apply for the merchandise vendor permit. And that locks you into that rate. Once you've completed the documentation that you need to secure the public health permit, what you do is you just walk into the office again, the StreetsLA office, and they will change out, they'll change out the merchandise permit and issue you a food permit and a food and merchandise permit absolutely free. So that's our recommendation, so that you get locked into a lower rate. So now you've succeeded, you have all of your permits in hand. We're excited for you, but we want to make sure that you start off your experience as an entrepreneur, as a vendor, on a positive foot. So we're going to go through a couple of the rules and regulations that you should keep in mind. There'll be more detailed information in subsequent trainings, and also the information is housed on our website. The first thing that we want to stress is ensuring that you at all times possess up-to-date all of your permits, business tax licenses, everything that you would need. So we know that the cart is permitted, but we then know that for the vendor permits requires every individual to have their own vendor permit. So for instance, say we have a family that's selling, and today Lupita, the daughter, is selling and not the mom. We want to make sure that the day that Lupita is out there selling the tacos, that Lupita has her own vending permit along with the permit for the cart from the Public Health Department, as well as a BTRC and her seller's permit from the state. That is very important to keep up-to-date records with you at all times. Be aware of the no vending areas. You're going to know when you're not allowed in those certain areas because there'll be signs around you. For example, some of the locations that are off limits are Staples, LA Live, Dodger Stadium, Placita. Those are certain areas that you are not allowed to be vending. We want to make sure that you pick up all your trash and recycle. So as I shared earlier, there's some of the items that you'll be able to dispose of in your immediate area. There'll be trash cans near where you're vending, but there'll be other items that you'll have to dispose of at the commissary. If you're a food vendor, keep produce bagged and protected from bugs and rodents. This is something we can't stress enough, is making sure that you ensure the sidewalks are open for pedestrians, right? You're the one that's the guest. The right of way belongs to the pedestrian or the person who is someone with a disability that is in a wheelchair or a cane. We want to make sure that those walkways are free and you're not encroaching and impeding their access to flow with your cart. And as always, if you're a food vendor in particular here, we want you to be aware of the state laws on food vending. So not only do you have to worry about the laws that are required by the city and the county public health department, in your case, the county health department, but also follow the lead on the laws that are imposed for food vending by the state of California. So now that we've gone through a couple of the items, here are a few questions that have been posed to us in the past that might be useful for you. So you might ask, who needs a permit? Well, anybody who sells food or merchandise on City of LA sidewalks and parks is required to hold a vending permit. And why do I need a permit? Well, a permit protects you as a vendor and ensures the health, safety, and welfare of residents and visitors as well. How often do I need to renew my permit? Well, the permit needs to be renewed every 12 months. And what if I don't get a permit? Well, this is a reminder why you should get a permit, because if you don't have a permit, vendors will be fined anywhere between $250 to $1,000 for not having a proper license or permit. That is every time. If an inspector catches you multiple times, you're paying a fee every time that you're cited. Now, there are the locations that we shared earlier for where you're going to be getting your BTRC and your seller's permit. But what we encourage, we don't want you having to drive around. If you secure a business or center counselor, they're going to walk you through that process. So without having to leave your home, they'll help you online secure the BTRC and the seller's permit. Where there are their locations in case you are interested in going there in person. And down below, as we shared multiple times, the multiple documents that have to be submitted to the health department, their location, their involvement park. And ultimately, to receive your City of LA vendor's permit, you will be coming down to the StreetsLA headquarters, or housed in downtown Los Angeles on Broadway. And that's where they'll be able to assist you with that final vending permit. Now, we encourage you to stay up to date with updates on information, following us on our social media pages, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, and on our website. So on our website, we are going to be housing recorded workshops. There'll be information on any of the workshops that'll be offered online. And when we're able to go into the community and connect with vendors in person, we'll be also sharing the information on the locations for on-site trainings. Additionally, you'll be able to download our resource guide. And the resource guide has most of the information that we covered here in today's training. You can access that with the QR code. So we encourage you, use your smartphone and go over that code. You'll be able to download information and connect you to our website. We want to also have you share, if you have friends that speak other languages, we are excited to share that the resource guide that we completed is available in 13 languages. So in addition to English and Spanish, we have Korean, we have Russian, we have Vietnamese, so that our community as a whole is informed on the steps that they need to follow to secure their vending permits and how they can succeed as vendors in the City of Los Angeles. And again, a reminder, the whole process can be streamlined by visiting one of the 8 business source centers. One of the counselors at those facilities will literally hold your hand, walk you through the process, and enable you to then secure all the required permits so that you could be a vendor in the City of Los Angeles. Well, it's been my pleasure spending this time with you. We hope that you found it useful, and we want to wish you the best of luck. Continue to follow us on our website for updates and additional information. Best of luck to you.